Paul Ryan is spending a second straight day campaigning here in Wisconsin.
Governor Scott Walker told a crowd of 1,200 near Green Bay that it was up to them to get Ryan elected. News 3's Theo Keith was there and has more in tonight's Campaign 2012 coverage.
On one of the last warm days of the fall campaign, Paul Ryan switched it up a little bit from what he's been doing in his previous trips here to Wisconsin. He's held a lot of town halls over his time as a Janesville congressman, and Wednesday he held another, taking people's questions.
Good morning, sir. Have you got your buttons yet?
The day started 3 hours before Paul Ryan's event as people bought buttons and lined up early to get a good seat.
We got here right after we dropped the kids off from school, and about 8:45.
It's pretty nice to have a cheese head on the ticket, isn't it?
Before Ryan, it was Governor Scott Walker saying that the state hasn't voted for a Republican ticket since he was in high school. That fired up the crowd for the main event.
You look at our poverty rates, look at the fiscal cliff that is giving so much uncertainty to businesses. We can do better than this.
Most of the conversation centered on the economy and the federal deficit, although Ryan said the U.S. also needed to promote peace in the Middle East through its strength. He said the president hasn't done well on any of that.
It's not too late to get the country back on track by reclaiming those principles that built this country, that gets America free, that gets our economy growing, that get people hope, that get people back to work, that get us back to prosperity and jobs and opportunity.
Hundreds of supporters seem to agree with the economic message.
If you got jobs and people paying taxes, that's going to help with the deficit, and that's going to help with our problems.
And what do you see right now to the economy?
It stinks.
We need change, and this is our version of hope and change right here.
As summer's warmth slips into the crispness of fall, the campaign is on. As Paul Ryan was off to Ohio to campaign, Wisconsin gets ready to welcome Joe Biden on Thursday in Eau Claire. For now, in Ashwaubenon, I'm Theo Keith, WISC News 3.
Now, some of Ryan's first district constituents were also in Green Bay today protesting the congressman's policies. They voiced their opposition and cheered and chanted. They say his district won't benefit from giving tax breaks to the wealthy.
Another day, another campaign. Joe Biden was in Eau Claire telling college students how he would improve their paths to prosperity.
And the green and gold is looking to make up for 0-1. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. The visiting Bears, of course, making the trip north with a few new weapons. We'll have live team coverage in Green Bay in just a moment.
But first, the vice president made his second stop in Wisconsin in as many weeks, campaigning at UW Eau Claire today. He was playing to a younger audience, highlighting the differences between the campaigns on education and student loans. News 3's Theo Keith was at the event and has reaction in our Campaign 2012 coverage.
This was not the same rally that we saw across the state Wednesday when Paul Ryan spoke. Today, Joe Biden spoke directly to the young people on the UW Eau Claire campus, saying how his administration would give them a more promising future.
Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden took the stage saying that it was good to be back on a college campus. He tailored his message to the audience.
Soon you're all going to be stepping out of this great university and taking your place in the leadership of this country. And the question is, what will you inherit?
He told them they would inherit a stronger economy, one that invested in education if they re-elected the president. And Biden spent much of the speech on his opponents and how their plan had been tried before and it didn't work.
It ends in a catastrophe for the middle class and the Great Recession of 2008. The president and I have a different way forward. We know the way to create good jobs is the old-fashioned way, from the middle out, not from the top down.
Those with student loans said Biden came to the right place to highlight education.
Can't get a job right out of college. What do? How do you pay back your loans?
I'm going to be an elementary school teacher, and I was really happy to hear him talking about more funding for elementary schools, for Head Start schools, for just making sure that kids get off to the right start.
About 3,000 people packed UW Eau Claire's arena, but not everyone could hear the message in person.
Yeah, we got stuck outside. The fire marshal shut down because the capacity was overdone, and yeah, there's probably 50, 60 people right outside the front doors, and then hundreds around the area.
While people said they were excited for the vice president, they say they're ready for the president to campaign here too. In Eau Claire, Theo Keith, WISC News 3.